Hello, my people of the internet. Derral Eves here. Now, I am really excited to be on TubeBuddy's channel and talk about the YouTube algorithm. Now, before we actually get started, basically what I want you to do is understand how the format of this video is going to work today, and how we're gonna dig deep into the algorithm, but also answer your questions. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna talk about the algorithm, and you can kind of put your chats in the chats, and what I'll do is pull it up like this, and right here we have a chat from Buzz Live TV HD. It says, hello guys, Buzz Live TV HD's in the house. We will reply to those comments from there. Now, a couple things. We're going to get really in depth with the algorithm and answering your questions. But what I want to do is start off by talking about what the algorithm's all about and how to really leverage it as content creators on YouTube. But before we get started, I got to tell you, I am the #1 fan for TubeBuddy. I love this tool so much that it just saves me hundreds of hours in a given month. And I'm telling you, I use it religiously. Really, I do, because it just really manages my own time in a way that I'm able to do things on YouTube and try things on YouTube that's not necessarily feasible if I didn't have TubeBuddy. Like literally, like the channel management tools are, by far the best tools I've ever come across. Plus, the team at TubeBuddy, Phil and all the crew there, are amazing people. And anything that I actually want, I usually just kind of shoot them an email or a Skype message, and they literally put it in. And I'm excited about that. And so that's one thing that I do love. And then two, they've been very supportive of me and my ventures. They've been involved with my conference I put on every year called the Vid Summit, and I really do appreciate their support. Now, for those that don't know me at all, some of you might be new and you don't know who I am. I want to kind of go through a little bit of who I am so that you have an understanding of kind of the background that we're actually looking for. I know a lot of you that come on YouTube, you might have seen my face on some video going like, or some thumbnail going, or something like that. Just because, I'm trying to answer questions for you guys as content creators. And like my goal, my mission, my purpose is to help you guys be more successful here on YouTube. And what success means for me and what I translate that to is helping you grow an audience and leveraging that audience so you can actually make money on YouTube and off of YouTube. That's like a very big deal for me. But to give you some background, I have been on YouTube since 2005. It did come out in 2005. I was the early adopter. I own a company that focuses in on audience development, growth, monetization. We do a lot of YouTube organic strategies and also paid strategies. I'm also certified up in the wazoo for everything Google and YouTube. I do love YouTube, and I've literally generated over 30 billion video views on YouTube, 21 gold play buttons. That's right, I've started 21 channels and helped them get over 1 million subscribers each, and I have about 19 billion views on Facebook. Now, here's what a lot of people, I get people replying to me. They see my YouTube channel out there and like, oh, you only have like 500,000 subscribers and you only get a couple thousand views per video. And they really don't understand what's actually going on. And I truly want to share with you what's actually happening and the people that really don't understand what's actually happening behind the scenes. Now, there's a couple types of channels on YouTube. One would be a resource channel, which TubeBuddy would be a resource channel. My channel would be a resource channel. Nick Nimmons would be a resource channel. When people need information, when they're in dire need of help, they're looking for resources, okay? Then you have the other type of channel where it's connecting with the content, and the content isn't resource, it's more entertainment or inspiring. from that regard. And so, you know, they generally come back and watch every video. For me, they might watch one video here, one video there, because they don't necessarily need help with this. Now, as of late, I've been focusing 100% on the YouTube algorithm, and I've actually put up a lot of content on my channel. You can find it at youtube.com/Derral Eves. And for me, let me go back to the play button here. My business and myself, we own our own channels that I don't necessarily talk to. We have 21 gold play buttons, and what I've done is I wanted to figure out YouTube, and how it all started and how it all began was I owned a company that we worked with search engine optimization. We'd actually rank websites on YouTube, or I'm sorry, on Google, and we get those websites ranked and on different directories like Yahoo and Alta Vista and Ask Jeeves. That was way back in the day in 1999. And we were really good at that. And I was always trying to figure out how algorithms work. Then we would have Google change the algorithm. Matt Cutts would make the announcement who's the anti-spam czar, saying, oh, we can't have you do this anymore. And we'd have to figure the algorithm out. So since 1999, I have been obsessed with algorithms. I've been literally obsessed of figuring things out and trying to get positioning where it's at. Now, at the end of the day, algorithms get smarter and smarter and smarter. And what happened was I was introduced to YouTube through Craigslist. I know it kind of sounds like a dating thing, but it wasn't. I was like going to find a desk, and I saw an ad there that says, hey, you can win this brand new iPod. And at that time, the iPods were like the size of a brick. And if you threw it at somebody, it would literally kill them. That was the type of iPods was out. But then Steve Jobs came out with this brand new iPod Nano, and YouTube was giving away some iPod Nanos. If you could get 100 people to actually sign up, you'd be entered in to win an iPod Nano. So that's what happened. It was like literally the first part of November 2005. I literally did my job, which was to do internet marketing, spam. And I got about 100 people to sign up. And I literally got entered in to win that iPod Nano. And guys, guess what? I did win that iPod Nano. I was one of like 1,000 people that did it. But really, at that time, I was blown away by YouTube. I was blown away at what was happening, because that was the first time that I could click a video and it started to play, because it would start buffering along, and we didn't have to wait for it to go all the way to the end of the video before it actually started. And I was blown away by that. I was like literally saying, oh my gosh, this is the future. Now, when I was 8 years old, the occupation that I wanted to do was to do Super Bowl commercials. That was my thing. I want to be an advertising agency, do Super Bowl commercials, and ultimately I haven't done a Super Bowl commercial, but I've done commercials that get a lot more views and visibility than any Super Bowl commercial has ever had. You know, and that's kind of where we're at. So my love for YouTube is real. And I always try to figure things out. And once we were able to see where the true power of YouTube is, and you know, in the beginning, I was working with YouTube videos to get them ranked on Google and YouTube, because I understood that Google world really well. And we were starting to get these videos that were ranking in the first position, second position, third position. I even had some that we were getting leads for doctors, dentists, lawyers, pest control companies. And I literally had all 10 spots in that first page, and it was all video. And it's like, oh, okay, who are we gonna call? We got 10 choices here, and it's all the same place. And the cool thing is I was leveraging that. But when I actually saw the true power of YouTube is when I got introduced to a piano store that was trying to sell pianos online. They sell these amazing grand pianos online, and they needed someone to do marketing in their website and understand YouTube and strategy. And I was introduced, and before you know it, they went from, and they're super talented, like they were just gonna catapult anyway. They had these amazing videos where they'd put these pianos on top of mountains. And at the end of the day, what happened was I was able to be a part of the process of getting my first client over 1 million subscribers. And I saw the true power of YouTube. And the true power of YouTube, for all of you that are watching right now, is 100% audience. It's about the audience, about you guys watching the videos. And I was able to see how you were able to grow organically and what you're able to do. And that was the #1 channel that I was a part of to get over 1 million subscribers. And if you're familiar with the piano guys, that's who I'm talking about. And ultimately from there, I really fell in love with the platform so much that I literally sold off a portion of my business and focused 100% on audience development and creating videos. And that's been several years ago. And we have just really figured out the formula of what it actually takes to grow on YouTube and what you actually need to do. And part of it is understanding the AI. Now, understanding the AI is really big. And every year I give a keynote at my conference I put on called the Vid Summit. And the keynote is 100% talking about the algorithm and how to leverage that. And that happens every year. And you guys have probably seen it off and on where I upload a very long video and I kind of talk about the algorithm. Well, the algorithm changes. And what I want you to understand about the algorithm, and this is something that all of you need to comprehend, that and I talk to creators like this, and sometimes that you guys just don't get it, but it's literally not about the YouTube channel. Has nothing to do with the YouTube channel. That ship has long sailed, having it be a part of the channel. And I can tell you, I can guarantee you, it's not about the channel or how you optimize the channel or anything. Now that's great. That might give you a little advantage there. And that's something that you probably need to do. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I've seen channels explode with no optimization, no tags whatsoever. And how do they actually do that? Well, it's understanding what the algorithm is looking for. And at the end of the day, it's all about the YouTube video and the YouTube viewer. And that's where things get really interesting. That's where things really start taking off. And I found once a video takes off, the channel grows automatically. Like it's an automatic thing that actually grows and happens every time. And the more that we can get more video contents taking off, that's where the subscribers come. So let me kind of give you some context to this. I spent a couple days in New York City with a client of mine, very talented, Studio C. And I've been with Studio C from the beginning and helped them get over, they're almost 2 million subscribers right now, a couple billion video views. And ultimately, at the end of the day, I had someone who I admire quite well come and meet me in New York City. We did a little collab, and I took him to this premiere party in New York City where they're doing a live taping of Studio C for the new season, and his name's Cody Warner. And I'm telling you, Cody had some recent success. Like he was only at a couple thousand subscribers, but he's like all hustling, and he understands that, hey, there's no small creator. We can actually do something big. It's all about your content. And he wanted to make video content that was engaging. And I'll tell you what, how I found out about him was, someone tweeted me. I went on his channel. I started to consume his channel, and I literally binge watched his channel. And that's what it's about, is like getting one video to take off. And what happened was Cody understood it's about the video and the viewer, and he understands that principle 100%. And at the end of the day, he had one video that he did with Peter McKinnon, and he started to blow up. But here's what you don't understand. Everybody thinks, oh, you only got all those views coming from Peter McKinnon. Well, that's not necessarily the case. What happened is they had a huge influx of new viewers coming on his channel. They watched one video, and YouTube was really trying to understand what that viewer would do next. So understanding the YouTube AI, understanding the algorithm, YouTube is running basically machine learning. They're using Google Brain. If you're familiar with that, I don't want to get into the mechanics of that, but ultimately Google Brain is literally trying to predict what the viewer will do next. And if they actually take certain actions on a specific video, then it literally opens up a new pathway. And everything on YouTube is literally about the viewer and about the video. And ultimately, at the end of the day, once you can take that into consideration, then it literally starts to go. So these people that were coming in on Cody's channel, they watched Peter McKinnon. What the YouTube AI noticed that there's a high percentage of people that actually watched another video on Cody's channel. And before you know it, they watched another video, and some of them subscribed, and some of them engaged. And then the next day when he released, because he releases daily content, a new video came out, and that same group of people watched the next video. And so YouTube's saying, oh, okay, this channel is starting to take off. And do you know what happened next? You wanna know what happened next? He got selected on YouTube on the rise. Okay, so that's like a thing where the algorithm says, oh, this YouTube channel is literally growing. We want to kind of feature it. And he got, I think, 6,000 or 7,000 more subscribers from it because he was featured on YouTube. And that's kind of where it's going. But the algorithm kicked that off, and the algorithm got that going. So there's a couple things that you need to understand what we're talking about. You know, it's all about the viewer and it's all about the video, but I wanna give you some context to this. And this is something that I teach privately with my coaching students. We go in a lot of depth, but it's all about the 6 C's needed for video success on YouTube. And these 6 C's are content, connection, consistency, community, call to action, and collaboration. Now, I know that a lot of you are looking for success. I understand it. And at the end of the day, and I'm gonna just be blunt because that's who I am, and it kind of sets the haters off a little bit, but I'm okay with that. But at the end of the day, the reason why most channels don't succeed on YouTube is because of content, okay? Their content literally sucks. That's where it's at. It's like literally so bad that YouTube's not gonna do anything with it. So let me kind of explain what content is. Okay, content is, and it's in this order. I want you to understand it. It's in this order of priority. I've already prioritized it for you. The first thing is title. Title is content, okay? Because YouTube's looking at the title to figure out how to actually suggest that out. Now, they're spending less and less time because the AI or Google Brain's getting really smart of what to predict what people would watch. But that title is your first piece of content. Your second piece of content is your thumbnail. And I'm here to tell you, I'm doing a presentation at VidSummit, and I am telling you, thumbnails will get you a ton more views and a ton more suggestions if you know how to leverage it. And so you have thumbnail, you have title, then thumbnail, and then the next piece of content that you actually have is your hook. And your hook should relate to your thumbnail and your title, okay? Or if that hook doesn't, that first 20 seconds literally, is what YouTube's looking at. Because what happens if you have a high impression and you have a high click-through, but people start watching your video and they only watch like 5% of your video, or like, 10 seconds of it and jump off, YouTube says, oh, there's a higher than normal percentage of people that come onto the video and then they jump off within this period of time. So this video must suck. It doesn't matter how amazing your content is. That's why that hook is so important, because you want to pull them in to what they were advertised. Because like you're literally putting a billboard out there of your thumbnail and your title, and it was like literally saying, this is what the video is all about. And then you start the video and it has nothing to do with that video. It's like the thumbnail and title, and you're like, what's going on? And you're wondering, why do I have a high click-through? Why do I have a hockey stick effect when I'm coming onto YouTube and people are not consuming my content to the end? or you're only having like 10% or 20% of the people finish the video that actually start. Now, keep this in mind that as you're gathering this information, it should give you better indicators of what you need to do. So content is title, thumbnail, hook, and then your content. So if you can get them past the hook part, you literally have about a minute that you need to re-engage them that says, hey, this content's worth watching another minute. Okay, so you have about a minute to do that, and you already have, you know, those little pieces together where that makes sense. But at the end of the day, what YouTube's looking at next is how many people was served that impression, how many people clicked on it, and of the people that clicked on it, what was the percentage of the people drop off in the first 10 seconds? What's the percentage of the people that dropped off in the first 20 seconds, 30 seconds, and so on and so forth? What was the average view duration, which is extremely important. I know that for years I was talking about, minutes watched, but I can guarantee you now, minutes watched isn't as important as average view duration. So it's like, what is the average? What's the absolute? What's the relative average? And what I'm saying from that is YouTube's looking at your video and say, okay, here's a video from Derral Eves that is 10 minutes long. Here's a video from TubeBuddy that's 10 minutes long. Here's a video from Nick Nimmin that's 10 minutes long. Here's another video from Owen video that's 10 minutes long, okay? Here's another one from Tim Schmoyer that's 10 minutes long. Now, let's say that my average view duration is like 50%. So 50% that started actually finished the video. Let's say that Nick Nimmin's was 60%. That was, started the video to end it. Let's say that Owen video was like 70%. And then Tim Schmoyer's was 100% of the people. What video would YouTube actually do? Now, keep in mind that YouTube's looking at the parameters saying, okay, all these videos are the same from YouTube's perspective. What are we gonna serve someone that would be a similar audience to all these people and recommend that, suggest that out there on YouTube? What would it be? It would be that video that had a higher average view duration. Now, it doesn't matter if it had more minutes watched, it's that average view duration. Now, keep in mind, you don't want to discount the minutes watched, because the minutes watched as it accrues, and you'll get more and more as you get, it's more suggested, you'll get more views and kind of go from there. But that's what we're looking at for really understanding the algorithm. So does this make sense? I mean, is this going through what you need to understand? I think ultimately at the end of the day is that YouTube is machine learning technology, and it is literally trying to predict what would be best for the viewer to watch, because that's its number one goal. Because if it can keep viewers longer and longer on YouTube and getting them to come back to YouTube consistently, then YouTube is achieving its number one goal, which is to keep people longer on YouTube and coming back more frequently. And by doing that, they actually make more money. So does that make sense? Is that something that you guys are understanding? Let's go ahead and take some comments here, and we'll kind of jump through a lot of this, and hopefully we can get the right questions. So if you have a question, go ahead and put it in the chat right now. I know some of you are looking at questions in the past. It's kind of queuing through. I just need to select a few and we can kind of go from there. So let's go ahead and share this one. So this one's coming from Faris Jacqueline. Hey, Derral Eves, I saw your latest video. What are the best ways to get true engagement in a video? Okay, so I think what we need to do, Faris, is we gotta talk about what true engagement is. And for those that don't know what she's talking about, I actually gave a presentation at VidCon, and I cut it up into 4 videos. And I uploaded them all on my channel, and it's really in depth about the algorithm and the triggers and so on. One of the triggers that she's talking about is true engagement, and what people's misconceptions are about true engagement is, oh, it's a like. it's a share, it's a comment. Well, no, it's not. What YouTube says is like all those things can actually be fabricated. Like it can literally say, oh, someone can, buy likes or buy views or buy, engagements, or people can comment on it and not even watch the video, because they're literally watching that. They're like seeing people starting the video when they comment. There's a lot of information that's pulled there. What true engagement is from the AI's perspective, from the algorithm's perspective, is when someone does something in the video. So let me give you an example. There are people right now going to watch this video that are going to rewind the video to a certain part because they might have missed something, like, what did he say? Or, oh man, that was so amazing, I got to take some notes, so let me rewind that. So they actually take it back to a different time. So what happens at that time when they take it back, YouTube literally views the viewer as, oh, they're watching this video, they found this part really, really, really important, that they engaged with it again. And that's where true engagement is. And I'm here to tell you that some of the channels that I've seen really explode and have really good growth. Their content's really good. They understand their thumbnails, they understand their audience, they understand their titles, but ultimately their pacing of their videos are amazing. And so they're like high 60, 70% of people starting the video that finishes it. But where it does make the biggest difference is people coming back to a certain part or sharing a video from a certain timestamp from there. So that's what true engagement is when people are rewinding, fast forwarding, watching a video multiple times. That's what true engagement really is. And one thing that you might not know, but YouTube is being pulled from Google, and Google is literally now selecting parts in the video. So like if you have a 10-minute video that's teaching something, and you have 5 minutes of intro and understanding, but the teaching is like at 5 minutes into the video, like Google's now going to that 5-minute mark. And when somebody types in that, it's really smart. It's saying, oh, how do you do this on a Mac or whatever? It's going 5 minutes. They're cutting 5 minutes of your video out and going right to that information and being served. And from YouTube's perspective, that would be true engagement as well. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and get some more questions. So if you have a question, put it in the chat right now. Also, let's take a moment and for those that haven't shared this video yet, go ahead and hit that share button. TubeBuddy is amazing. We get more and more people knowing about the tool and knowing about what's going on. So go ahead and tweet this, put it on Instagram, whatever your socials are. I prefer Reddit. Reddit's my favorite place. Let's go ahead and do that. But if you have a question, put it in here. Let's get more people on here if we can. Let's go ahead and take this one. This is a great question. And if I don't get to your question immediately, that's something that I want you to put your question back in there. Don't spam it like you're putting it every time. When I say, hey, let's do another question, I'm generally looking for that other question. And so I'm not necessarily pulling from a queue. I'm just kind of grabbing something right there that kind of catches my eye. Okay, so let's go to do the next question. It is coming from Ordinary Opulence. What's your best suggestion for making better content? This is a great question. I love this question. This is one where when I get hired from a company or a creator, that we spend like the first 3 months just on their content, because usually their content can improve. I don't think I've ever had a client that we couldn't make better content. I can tell you at the end of the day, content that succeeds is when it's thought out and you execute on your plan and you bring in some variables. So let me give you a couple things. You're creating a video. And what I would do is like, okay, say, okay, what would make this video great? Well, let's start with the title. Let's start with the thumbnail. What are we gonna call this video? What is the thumbnail gonna look like? Like even before you shoot any video, not taking a screenshot and putting it as your thumbnail, like literally thinking about what would make a great clickable title, what would make a great clickable thumbnail. And by doing that, that is your first step of planning to make better content. Now, the next thing that I would do is like, what can I hook? How can I hook them into the video so they'll want to watch more videos, or they'll want to watch the rest of the video. Okay, and what are the fundamental elements that's needed in this video to succeed? You know, is it going to be too long? Is it going to be too short? Are people not engaging? You know, that's something that you need to look at. And what I like to do is create a formula for content. So if you go to your favorite YouTuber that's just massive and gets a ton of views, they have a formula. You look at Casey Neistat, for example. Like, he has a formula for his videos. Like, it is so cut and dry. Like, it is like everybody tries to copy him and whatever, you know, does these, you know, these little time lapses and stuff as he's doing the stuff from there. But ultimately, that is his formula. People know what to expect, and that's what you need to be looking at. So you're pulling all this information together and you're planning. And then what you do is you start with your content, like you're making your content. And what I like to do is the first piece of content that you should make is your thumbnail. Because if you do it at the end of the shoot, sometimes you're like exhausted. So I just start with the thumbnail first and really get what I want. I overshoot the pictures just so that I have them on file. And then that way, you know, we can kind of make some adjustments from there. Once that's done, I really try to think of the hook. And some type of content's different where you are, you know, you're basically, you know, giving information or whatever. It could be entertainment. And so you might need to shoot the whole video before you would know what the hook is. But I would look at, how do you make this more sticky? How do you get this more engaging? What would be more fun? And I'm here to tell you, like, I'm a true believer in being a student. I am a student of YouTube. I'm a student of creators. And once you're able to see 20 channels that are similar to your niche doing a certain thing, and you know they follow a certain pattern, that's the pattern you should follow. But you should put your own spin on it and be unique. But ultimately, after the shoot, to make better content is your edit. Like, literally cut the crap out. Like, literally take stuff that shouldn't even be in there out. And you should have a real indicator of what those things are based on the data that you're getting of how people engage with your video. Okay, does that make sense? That was a great question. I love that one. Let's go ahead and do another one. So if you have another question, go ahead and put it in the comments there. Let's go ahead. Okay. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this one. Put it up here. Okay, so we got another question. Oh, we need to change. We gotta liven this up here. We'll do the YouTube certification here. Okay, this is from Nines. YouTube has a feature on stream page that automatically saves the video as unlisted after stream end. Is it better than leaving it public for 24 to 48 hour? So this one, Nine, it's a tough one. I'll be honest with you. I'm getting conflicting data and I'm getting conflicting information from YouTube. So a year ago, I was at a private training where the search and discovery team came in and the project leads for all the different projects that YouTube has. So like live streaming would be a project and so on and so forth. They came into this conference of about 100 people and 50 of them were pretty much employees. And ultimately, at the end of the day, as they were sharing the information, I was able to talk to one of the people that works on the live. And I asked that specific question. I'm like, what do we do? And like, there's not that big of effect. But, you know, a year has gone by and ultimately I am now noticing that it depends on the type of live stream. Like, some people do it for like an hour or 3 hours, but their content's usually 10 minutes. And so what I would recommend doing is, it's a little crazy, but if you have under 100,000 video views, you can now use the new YouTube editor. And if you don't know what the editor is, I just released a video on my channel a couple weeks ago, and you can literally start taking your live stream and editing it down so that you can get what you want it to be and make it a smaller size. So you're not necessarily losing the views, you're not necessarily losing the engagement, but you're like literally truncating it down to make it something that someone can consume. And so I'd hope that you'd do that. before you would just make it unlisted. Because once it's unlisted, from YouTube's perspective, it's not even there. Unless someone has a link to get to it, it's not even there. And so does that really help you from the minutes watched? No. Like if it's unlisted, you don't get the minutes watched credit. You don't get the engagement credit that goes with that. So the only way to do that is either to edit it down, take it public, or just take it public from there. But keep in mind, if you're only getting like 10% of the people finishing it, maybe you should say, this video is not good enough to actually release. And that data isn't available for you for at least 48 hours. So there you go. So if you have a question, go ahead and put it in the chat. We're going to grab another one. Let's go ahead. Man, we're getting some good comments. I really love this community here. Let's see if we can get a few more comments rolling. Here's the thing is there's so many people that ask this question right here. And so this is a good one to hit. But, we gotta, what am I doing? We gotta change this up here. So ready? Okay, now let's try it again. Boom, there we go. We got the floating fat man there. Okay, so Vinny's asking, hey, I can get views, but I barely get subscribers. Any tips? Okay, this is a great one. And ultimately, at the end of the day, if we were going back to what we were talking about of what you're able to succeed is you have your content. Remember the 6 C's that we were talking about? One of them is call to action. And if you don't verbally tell someone to subscribe and you only show the subscriber, you only have the thing pop up, then people will just kind of go on. Like people literally need to be told what to do and what to do next. And so the more that you can get that in your way to engage them, you can be creative, you can be fun, it could be some really engaging ways to do it. Ultimately, at the end of the day, the views are connected, but getting the subscriber is all about your content of getting that call to action. Now, Roberto Blake and Nick Nimmin and myself and a few others noticing that, if you do the call to action closer to the beginning of your videos, saying, hey, if you like content like this, make sure you smash that subscribe button and pound that bell notification. If you do that at the beginning, you're going to get a lot more people actually subscribing and clicking through, and then you do it again at the end. That's 2 call to actions that you're able to add. And so that's what I would do too. I would also do a link in your description that auto subscribes someone. So when they click on it, it brings up a box. It's one of those boxes that says, oh, do you want to subscribe to this channel? Hit subscribe, boom, and then you're subscribed to it. That's one thing I would definitely do. And then also I would use TubeBuddy. Personally, I'd use TubeBuddy. Go back through all your videos and add that link on every one of your descriptions. You can do it very magically using the amazing tool of TubeBuddy. So really, really great question. Let's go ahead and take another one. Boom. Here is a great question here. Let's go ahead and pull it up here now. And CLE random. If I'm not getting many views, can I change my title or does it hurt me even more with the algorithm? Okay. So as this would say, Yoda would say, do or do not, there is no try. I don't know. We were doing Star Wars stuff. I'm a Star Wars geek. I love it. But here's the thing is, if you're not getting views on a video, and it didn't have a ton of views, there's some videos that get a ton of views and then it kind of goes through a drought period and it kicks back up. If it's not within that time, then absolutely you can change your title and your description and your thumbnail. You can literally change your thumbnail anytime. It's not going to reset what YouTube's looking at it. It's just basically looking at your click-through data from there. But let me tell you how important titling is. Titling is the #1 thing that you can do on YouTube in that first few hours of the video release. And so make sure you get it right before. Don't change it during the time. I've seen a lot of people change their title like 5 or 6 times within an hour. I'm like, why didn't you prepare and plan what that was before you're doing it? And ultimately, at the end of the day, that's what you need to do. Now, Going back on your older content, absolutely, go ahead and do it. I would also change some tags and add more description. I think the biggest complaint that I have with a lot of people that aren't getting discovered is their descriptions, maybe a couple links, subscribe, and there's no description whatsoever. And do not do the transcription as your description. That worked about 10 years ago. Do not do that. Like literally break down what the video is about. YouTube's really smart and looking for spam. Don't over hashtag. I'd only do 3 hashtags. Don't over link things. People, YouTube's looking at that is this valuable content, or is it someone just trying to spam like everything, like putting all their videos in the description? Like you want to keep it. I wouldn't necessarily maximize the 5,000 characters that you get, but I would literally have like 2 or 3 massive paragraphs about that. And it doesn't matter if you have 1 at the beginning and a couple in the middle. That's kind of what you need to do. So that's a great question from there. So if you have another question, I'm going to go ahead and pick one. What a great community this is. I love this. I love it. So let's go ahead. We are going back to Little Derral here, answering the question. Hey, Derral, can you explain how to read correctly the Reach Viewer tool in the YouTube Studio Beta, and how to use to optimize profits? Okay, that's a great question. I could actually show you on the channel, but I got to get permission first to actually show what we're actually doing. Like anyone from TubeBuddy, the team there, can I go into the studio beta because I'm like logged into to your guys' channel? Is that cool? If that's cool, I would love to kind of log in and show them what I'd actually do. So go ahead and put that in there. I'm gonna assume that I can, but I'm gonna wait. And so I'm gonna kind of give you a little bit of context before, and then hopefully I can see that I'm able to do that. Because I don't want to break the trust with TubeBuddy. Like that's one thing I don't want to do, because I love these guys. Okay, so Andrew says I can do that. So let me go ahead and log in there, and I want to show you what he's talking about here, and we'll kind of break it down specifically for you guys. That being said, the studio beta, I'm here to tell you, is like, it's getting better and better every day. I love it. It's my first place that I look for. And so here's the studio beta. What he's talking about is underneath the analytics section. You can go ahead and click on that. And this gives you kind of the overview of your channel. It's a different look than what you've ever seen before. And basically you're able to see different sections. So this basically shows the videos of when it's released, and then it shows, oh, we got a video release at Spike, and so on and so forth. Shows our latest activity. Ooh, this is a good sign. Our latest activity is looking pretty good with you guys on here, because we're in real time. But what he's asking about is under Reach Viewers. So Reach Viewers is like the #1 place that I spend my time looking and analyzing videos, because this gives me all the data that I want. Now, this is all traffic sources. Notice that the #1 traffic source on TubeBuddy's channel is browse feature. Okay, now that is literally a shocker, because generally a lot of channels is either suggested video as #1, and maybe #2 or #3 is browse feature. But you can see right here that it's literally browse feature that is the #1 traffic source, and I don't even see suggestion on here, like in the top 5. Okay, so I'm very mindful of what this is, and I'm very mindful of what happens here of the traffic sources, because what we're looking to do is get an indicator of how to improve our channel based off of the traffic sources. And then this is like, if there's one thing right here in the impressions, how they lead to watch time, this little triangle right here, or this funnel, it is the most amazing thing on YouTube analytics since real-time analytics. Like, I'm here to tell you, it's something that I've been wanting for years. I've been reaching out to support and the people. I'm like, hey, it'd be a good idea if we knew how many impressions and how many click-throughs that we get. And guess what we get now? We literally get this information right here, which is we can see how many impressions our videos are at. It's like it shows here, and then how many click-through rates. Now, what we want to do is we want to be on the scale where YouTube's literally recommending our content. And as we pull in more videos, and like, let's go ahead and let's just grab, let's grab a video that could, let's go ahead and, I'm gonna just grab a video real quick, top 5. Okay, so here's one that was published by the TubeBuddy team. And what we're going to do is go back into reach viewers. And what we're trying to do is get this indicator to go way over here. Okay, so, and you can't see my, okay, that's really, so I'm using NDI on my live system, and so you can't see my mouse. But if you were to look at it in the right-hand corner, you're able to see that impressions. We want to look under that where it says 36%. Let me go ahead and kind of do it like this. There we go. 36.3% YouTube recommending your content. We want that to be in the high 90s. And that's what we're looking at. And then we're also looking at the click-through rate percentage. So this tells me, hey, do you know what? They had this many impressions, 4% click-through rate. You want to be a little bit higher. But your question was, can you explain how to read correctly the Reach Viewer tool in the YouTube Studio Beta and how to optimize it for profits? So to optimize it is you're trying to get this number right here, the click-through rate up for each specific video and for the channel as a whole. So the channel has an average. So if we're going back here, the channel has an average of 2.3% click-through rate. What we want to do is get 2% higher than this. If you have a goal to get 2% higher than this, then that means that YouTube is going to promote you more. You'll get, you know, maybe 2x more or 3x more amount of impressions, and you'll get more views based off of that. So that's the first indicator that I look for. The next indicator I look for is the average view duration. So you can see the average view duration is 23%. We want to get that higher and higher. So I'd say, okay, let's make a goal to get that to 50%. Now, some of them might be hard because what TubeBuddy's doing is more of a resource. And then they bring creators like me and Nick Nimmin and On Video and Brian G. Johnson on to train you. And, you know, like we have Andrew too, but it's just like different people training, and it might engage with the content a little bit differently. But where you're your own content creator, that's definitely what you need to be looking at, is the average view duration of that. So once that's there, we're looking at how to get that up. So our goal is getting that YouTube recommending your content as high as we possibly can, get that click-through rate as high as we possibly can, getting that average view duration high as we possibly can. Now, here's the important thing. Don't compare yourself to anyone else. Don't say, hey, you know, I get 23% click-through rate. Well, how many YouTube suggestions are you getting? Is it like 20%? Because you're gonna have a higher click-through rate if it's only going to your subscribers. But if it's going out to more and more people, your click-through rate would be lower. And for each specific vertical, like kids and family, I can guarantee you this, they'll click a lot more, they're just like kind of click, you know, on content. So you'll have a higher click-through rate. But you take a channel like this, it's a resource channel, like, nah, I'm not necessarily interested in this topic. And so they don't have a high click-through rate because of the diversity of content, even though it's talking about YouTube and the tools and so on and so forth, but it's so diverse. And when someone's not looking for that resource, it's gonna be a lot lower. But for TubeBuddy, I can guarantee you they need to be at least 7-8%. I'd be trying to get 10% personally on your thumbnails. And it is obtainable. It's just something that you got to work on and go from there. So hopefully that answers your question. Let's go ahead. If you have another question, put it in the chat. And what I want to do just real quickly is talk to you about something that I'm passionate about while you're getting your questions in there. I'm super passionate about a conference I put on every year called the Vid Summit. The Vid Summit is a conference that I started, and I want to tell you why I started this. And this is really important for me so that you understand what the culture, what the community is like at Vid Summit. So I have had a lot of great success on YouTube with video ads, with working with brands, working with creators, and I'm asked a lot to go and speak and train around the world. And you can see, like, every week I'm going to Dallas this week, so I'm always gone. And the reality is I'd go to these conferences and I would hear one good speaker, and then they'd have another speaker that was just sharing their story. I'm like, I don't want to hear their story. I want strategies and tactics. That's all I want. Or they would have a panel, and it was like the most unprepared panel of the century. And I'm like, why are you spending so much time, and you have all these people that put their life on hold? They spend money to fly in, get a hotel room, buy a ticket, sit in the audience, and then you waste my freaking time. Like, why is that happening? And I just noticed a theme. And then there's great conferences out there that fulfill their purpose, like VidCon. I really love VidCon. It's really good for those tweenie and fans to connect with their creators. It's like super great. It's really great for brands to connect with creators as well. And then there's some education that's amazing because of the staff there. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I don't like every session that I go to, and it's like, what can I do? And I'm one that I wanted to have, I wanted to learn. Now, if you know me, I'm obsessed with learning. I probably go through 7, 8, 9 books a month. I consume so much video content that you guys would like freak out. Like, I really do, because I want to learn, I want to grow. Another thing that I do for learning, this drives my wife batty, but I go on Netflix and I literally just browse the titles because I'm interested in the thumbnail and the thumbnail science behind that. I'm passionate about that. I want to know about it. And I know that they spent hundreds of millions of dollars getting a study of what actually works and how it engages and how it's actually dynamic for the viewer. And I think that's the future of everything. So that's me. I wanted to learn. I wanted to grow. And there wasn't a conference out there that was giving me what I want. So I decided, you know what, Derral, I'm going to get what I want. I'm going to learn from the best. And I literally invited 100 people, and I invited speakers to LA. And I just said, look, I want to learn from you, and this is what I'd like you to teach us. But you have to be willing to do a couple things. Number one, you have to be willing to share your strategy. You have to be willing to tell us what you did wrong, what you did right, what things that you wish you would have known before you started the project, and literally open up your campaign or your strategy to everyone in the audience. And every speaker came in, and I'm here to tell you, I learned so much. And it was like, I wanted to learn this about Facebook. I want to learn this about Twitter. I want to learn this about ads. I want to learn this about content creation. I want to learn about this of audience development. And I literally had the best people come in and teach me. So I can tell you right now, Vid Summit 100% is for me to learn. And the great thing about it is the things that I want to learn, you guys get to learn too. And if you're not familiar with the Vid Summit, what I'd like to do is kind of just roll this really quick video of what people think about the Vid Summit.
I got more value out of the first 2 hours than any other convention that I've ever been a part of.
If you missed out on Vid Summit, you missed the premier event for video creators of the year.
Vid Summit is the place to be if you want to learn how to grow your video business.
It is a place where insiders teach each other the tricks of the trade.
Vid Summit for me, I mean, in the first 10 minutes, I got my money's worth.
I found co-creators, I found mentors.
No one here has an ego. Everyone here wants to teach. Everyone here wants to learn.
The presenters are available to us. They interact with us. They're so willing to give their information.
It's been surprising how timely and relevant and raw the information is. And I freaking love it. Be here.
Now, TubeBuddy is always coming to the Vid Summit, and I really do appreciate them. They've been a great sponsor for Vid Summit. And it's a great way for them to connect with us as creators and really learn how we use their tool a lot better. But if you want information about Vid Summit, go ahead and check it out at vidsummit.com. It is in LA every year. This is our 5th year. And every year I just invite the people that I want to learn from and put them on stage. And we have some of the most amazing people. And let me tell you what I'm really excited about more than anything else. So here's some of the people that we're learning from. Let me kind of zip down here. We have Peter McKinnon, who I am totally inspired by. Like, this guy is so amazing. He's a superstar. We have Sean Duras, we have Sarah Dietschy, we have Kristen Hills. Her and her sisters have a bajillion followers on all the different things. We have Daniel Markin coming in What's Inside. He's talking about the algorithm. Like, seriously, out of all the people that I look at and understand the algorithm, I can guarantee you this. Dan Markham from What's Inside literally understands trends and how trends off of YouTube and getting press off of YouTube and the types of videos and the timings of videos is key. And he knows how to trigger that algorithm to go nuts. And he's literally going to share that with us. We actually have Sarah from Amazon. Amazon's our title sponsor. You probably never heard of Meredith Levine, but Meredith is like literally one of the smartest people that I have ever met. Like, ever met. She is like from an audience development standpoint, she knocks it out of the park. And she's with Theris Media, so you know Game Theory and Matt Pat. Well, she works for that company, and she is super amazing. We also have Jim Louderback, Melissa Hunter, who's amazing with kids content and family content. We have Adam with I Love Basketball. Like, literally, he does basketball tutorials and makes 7 figures by pushing traffic off and getting people to buy. It's just super amazing. We also have the CEO of Harmon Brothers coming. They do the Squatty Potty, Purple, Fiberfix, Chatbooks, Aurabrush, the whole thing from there. I partner with them quite a bit every year. Like, we're working on 3 projects right now together, and it's just, I love their work ethic. There's some of the smartest people there. They will be at the Vid Summit. It's like they're always engaged at the Vid Summit. I learned so much from them. Also, we have me as the co-founder or founder of Creatus, my company, also Vid Summit. We have Rachel Farnsworth. This is one of my favorite people in the whole wide world, is Rachel Farnsworth, and she's one of the smartest people on Facebook I've ever met. She gets bajillions of views on Facebook. She was able to grow a Facebook page to over 1 million followers in less than like 4 months. I mean, she just crushes it, and she understands her audience and what they do. And so she's always teaching about that. You have Dennis Yu, who's one of the smartest people with ads on Facebook and YouTube and Google. We also have Stephen Scher coming, Chadwell Clay. Mr. Tim Schmoyer is coming to teach us. We have Zach Nilsson with Jerry Rig Everything, Travis Chambers, who also has an agency, Rob Sandy, the co-founder at vidIQ, Ricky Barry Butler, and Ben Solons. Okay, this guy right here, you probably never heard of him, unless you know something with Tesla. You might know who he is. But let me tell you, he actually automates his business. About 90% of his business is all automated. And he has a channel where he uploads video on Tesla, about the Tesla, but everything's automated. And he literally has sold more cars than any other person in the world that's an independent. And he's gotten 2 free Roadsters out of his coupon code that he's been using, just crushing it. He gets 7 figures just by automation, and he's going to teach that. So the list literally goes on. We'll kind of go back to that in a minute, of the schedule and so on. But I want to get back to the algorithm. Now, I'm here to tell you, at the Vid Summit, I am actually giving a presentation that I have been working on for 6 months. And I have been just diving into it. It's going to be my most in-depth keynote that I've ever given. I am literally, okay, so let me give you some context. I usually wait 6 months to share something, just because that gives me a 6-month edge and things change enough. And that's what I usually share. So you're usually seeing information that's a little behind. But this year I vowed that I wouldn't do that. I would do it 3 months. I give them 3 months because the algorithm is getting smarter and it's changing faster. So I feel like 3 months is good. So what I taught at VidCon isn't necessarily outdated, but it's modified a little bit. But I can guarantee you for the Vid Summit, I'm literally giving you the information that I have right now, and I'm not holding back. And that's my presentation at the Vid Summit. It's my keynote, and I'm giving it to all the attendees there. Also, if you want a virtual ticket, you could be in your pajamas in Siberia if you want, and you can watch the Vid Summit because we have a live stream, and it's going in all 4 rooms. We have 4 rooms that are at the same time that you're able to do. So you can go ahead and find that information at vidsummit.com, and don't forget, TubeBuddy's there, and they've been our partner. They were our first sponsor. Well before Amazon even knew who we were, TubeBuddy took a risk on us and sponsored Vid Summit. And we love TubeBuddy. So let's go back to the questions. So if you have a question, put it in the comments there so we can go ahead and gather that. Let's go ahead and bring in another question here. Let's find something really good. Let's kind of go from here. Okay, here we go. Great question. Here we go. Oh, we already did Star Wars. Let's do another one. Let's do this one right here. Oh, we already did that one. Oh, man. Where's this? Okay, there we go. We get the unicorn. Okay, Drop Top Productions. Hey, hello, Derral. Just started my channel. How do I get more people to see my channel? Now, that's a great question. I think all of us want to, basically everybody wants to understand how to get more people watching. And ultimately, it's like you got to figure out who your audience is. I like for every specific channel I look at, I try to think of one person who that video is for that channel. And if I can define who that person is, then we can find more people like that. And so I'm very specific of who is watching my content. So that's the first thing is who's watching your videos, but who do you want to watch your videos? That's who you need to create that content for. And then I go look off of YouTube of where those people congregate on. Now, commenting on other videos, saying, hey, go check out my channel, sub for sub, does not work. Like, yeah, you might get a subscriber or two, but take it from the YouTube's perspective. They subscribe but never watch any of your videos. That's really bad. That is literally bad for your channel. When somebody subscribes and then it doesn't watch any of your content, or they might watch a little bit of your content but never comes back again. That's telling YouTube, oh, they subscribe, but they don't like your content because they never click on it. That's bad. So don't do that. What you want to do is find creators that would love your content. Like there's Facebook groups, there's like I even have one that we do it. We don't necessarily share videos, but we learn tactics. It's called Video Makers and Marketers on Facebook. In fact, let me just pull that up. If you guys want to join, you can. It's an active community. We have every expert in there for the from Tim Schmoyer, Nick Nimmin, all the cool guys. You even have some of the non-cool guys like me in there. You can go ahead and let me go ahead and put that in the chat here. You could go ahead and join there, and ultimately at the end of the day, it's like finding these communities where they congregate and teach them. So when I first started YouTube, I went on yttalk.com. And I literally found ideas for videos because it's a forum teaching people how to do things on YouTube or questions outside of YouTube. And I was active in that community. I was active in that community for well over a year and a half. I'm not now, I'm just way too busy. But I was able to engage with that audience. And you know what? People say, oh, he just, like, you could have a place where you can put your latest video and, oh, it's a YouTube tip. And so I was able to grow from there. Like, you got to figure out where they're at. Then you go and engage with them, but don't like, hey, go look at my video. Don't do that, dude. Like that's the last thing that any of us want to have. But what we want to do is make good enough videos that people like recommend it and you're like engaging within that in that community. That's a great question. So let's go ahead and jump on another question. Let's kind of stick to the algorithm as much as we possibly can. And let's go ahead and find a good one here. Ooh, the Den of Nerds. We love the Den of Nerds, right? Let's go ahead and find a nerdy type of thing here. Oh, that's pretty nerdy. I like that. Okay, here we go. The Den of Nerds. We have the little Fortnite llama, loot llama, saying, is YouTube possibly hurting reach on videos that overdo it on SEO and trying to play the algorithm? Now, that is a great question. How many of you actually have that same question? Is this something that you believe that's actually happening? I want to hear your thoughts. Go ahead and put it in the comments. I know for me that YouTube is actively looking for spam. They're actively shutting down channels for spam. They're actively shutting down channels that break community guidelines. And to be honest with you, some of your videos that are over optimized are breaking community guidelines. Like keyword stuffing, like literally, one of the things I'm going to confess something, and please don't hold it against me, but back in the day, I was creating a playlist and just adding some keywords as the title. I mean, they don't care about the playlist. And it was for a channel that we own that's not my other one. And I literally got a community strike. I mean, I hit save to the playlist. It says, boom, community strike. You just violated terms of service. Don't do it again. You do it 2 more times. You're literally getting deleted off of YouTube. I'm like, holy, that's like the first time I've ever got a community strike. I'm like supposed to be this YouTube genius. And, and I got a community strike. I'm like, oh man. So like, the AI is getting smarter. I know that they're doing that for titles of YouTube right now for playlists. In the near future, I see that happening for titles of videos as well. This says, oh, you just broke community guidelines. And I know it's going to have a lot of creators that are going to freak out. But do they actually suppress videos? Well, YouTube is now looking. This is the analytics, and I want everybody to understand this. YouTube is only looking at that metadata in matter of minutes now, where it was like days before. Like a couple years ago, like 3 years ago, it was like, oh, you have about 5 days of they're looking at that meta information until they get the information in that they need to make the decision. But the brain and the AI for YouTube is getting so smart that it literally in minutes, depending on how much volume of video views you get in that certain amount of time, it might disregard it in minutes now instead of days. Like it can literally make that change. It says, oh, we now have the impression versus click-through and the average view duration. Let's go ahead and serve it out to more people. And they're totally disregarding all the meta information, except for the title a little bit and a little bit of the description. But everything else is disregarded. But it doesn't mean anything for suggestion. It doesn't mean anything, maybe a little bit for search, but not anything else. But outside of that, once it starts to identify what the video is about and who the viewer is, it's going to go find those viewers for you. So that's a great question. I love that. Go ahead, and if you have another question, we just passed the hour mark. Let's go ahead and let's do rapid fire questions. So if you have a question for me, go ahead and put it in the comments right now. I definitely would like to really answer some of these. There's a really good one. And it's good because I understand it. So eShopping says, the role of backlinks for ranking on YouTube in 2018. This is coming from eShopping. That is a great question. It's an amazing question. And so what he's saying is a backlink is when there's external websites that's embedding your YouTube video on their website or on social or on Tumblr, on whatever, Twitter or whatever. Is that have weight to rank a video? Now, I want to give you context. Okay, so we have search, discovery. Search, discovery. There's 2 ways that we're looking at it. And so the traffic source, if you're looking for traffic sources for search is still going off of multiple indicators. One of the things they will look for is how valuable that piece of content is based off of the metrics that they're looking on YouTube and off of YouTube. Now, keep in mind, people have been trying to do workarounds and trying to go from there, and they might get something ranked for a minute or two, and then it just falls out of ranking. And then we can go from there. So for me, if your videos are being through search, I would literally try to get the title exactly what people are searching for, And the closer you can get that to exactly what people are searching for is great. And I get that description there. But the questions dealing with backlinks and the role that it plays a factor on ranking videos on Google. It also plays a factor in ranking videos on YouTube. The percentage of factors, it doesn't hold as much weight as it did before, but it can if the PR rating on the website is high. So if you have a good page rank on the website is extremely high, and it's also a trusted website that Google looks at. So like CNN, if you can get your video played on CNN or embedded on CNN, that would hold more weight than it would be on some, some server that's just putting out spam links. And you have some link farms that are out there that it's just like I avoid that like the plague, because you can only game it so far, and it's always going to come back you and bite you in the butt. Like I've seen it time and time again. Just stay away from it. Just get valid embeds from valid people, and the more that it's from YouTube, where YouTube trusts it, the better it'll be. Okay, so that was a great question. Let's go ahead and do the next one here. Let's do a next question. Okay. That's a great question here. So, little faux pas. Hit the wrong screen. I'm all switching everything. I just hit the wrong button. Got fat fingers or something. Okay, so here we go. So Ferris is asking again, if I tag another popular YouTuber's name in my tags, is that against YouTube spam rules? That is a great question. And for me, it's true. It's like there are things that literally break terms of service and break the community guidelines. And that is one. Like that is literally in the community guidelines. Now, is YouTube enforcing this on every video? Well, no. But when they do, they do. And so that's one thing that you need to look at. But I want you to put this into consideration. If you're talking about that YouTuber, then put them in the tags, because the video is about that YouTuber, or you have clips from the YouTuber, or it's a collab, then absolutely you want to do that. But keep in mind that there's a video that's been floating around a little bit by Tom and also Tim about tags, of how relevant it is. And they're not really looking at tags like they were in the past. I still like to put the tags. I like to still put what it's about. I notice a difference. Some of them, they say there's not a difference, but that's just something, there's not as much weight as it used to be in previous years. But I do want you to let you know, do not deceive YouTube on what your video is. That's breaking terms of service. That's breaking community guidelines, and you will get a strike. Okay, let's do a couple more before we wrap up. And just to let you know, guys, before we wrap up, I want to answer your questions. So if you have a question, rapid fire, I'm going to start answering these questions. And this is brought to you by BidSummit. It's a conference I put on and really help you be more successful on YouTube. So let's go ahead and choose another question. That is a great question to ask from the right thing. Does getting YouTube certified help your channel? As we're looking at the YouTube certification right there that I got. So I was one of the first people to ever go through the YouTube certification. In fact, it was so small that it was all employee based, and just a few people, few big channel that were channel managers. And I was invited to that. And it was literally, we had 32 people in taking the YouTube certification class. We only had 2 people pass it. me and another guy from WWE. And it was like one of those things that you had to really know your stuff. You had to understand the CMS. You had to understand content management. You had to understand audience development. And it was like all this together. And you had 2 hours to put it together. You couldn't only take it once. Like you take it twice. If you fail it once, you take it again. But, luckily I passed. You have to get like a high percentage. But does it now? Like it's not even, like it is so basic. Like from what it was to what it is, it's so basic. But the question that you asked is, does it actually help your channel? And I do believe that it does. It does in the sense that that it gives you a good understanding what YouTube is and what it's looking for and the basics that it needs to succeed. So yes, I think the certification is 100% that you should consider. All right, let's go ahead and do another question here. Here is the next question in our rapid fire answering the questions, and it is coming to, I got to get more systematic with this for sure. The history terp. Okay, does anyone know why the live chat doesn't allow another participant's name to be automatically popped up when I want to tag a person in the chat while on my phone? Sorry, not related to the topic. Yes, it is related to the topic because you can literally ask anything. It's usually generally about the algorithm, but this is a frustration that I have. I'm like, YouTube is really good at video, but they do not even get social. Like they don't understand social for some reason. I don't know why. Like they say they do. I just don't think they do because it's like we have the community tab, right? On YouTube. You can't even share a post outside with the rest of the world. That's social, right? You can't even tag things. You can put a video link in there, but you can't tag creators. I'm like, this is like social 101. I mean, these guys need to come to the Vid Summit and learn what they need to understand what social is all about. But the reality is that's just one of those things that they haven't done yet. They need to do it, and they need to do it quick because if not, when other platforms expand like Twitch and Facebook and other things that might come out, hint, hint, they better be on their A game to have happy creators. And I don't know if you noticed this too, but everyone's getting surveys. Are you happy with YouTube? Wow. I swear I've gotten like 10 surveys in the last 2 months. It's like, no, like the first survey, that we're not happy. Like just like literally fix the stuff that you should be fixing. Wow, that's kind of a rant. Okay, let's go ahead and do the next question here. Great question. This is the quick fire. Next one. Does the algorithm favor daily uploads? Let's go back to the unicorn here. So in the past, YouTube was favoring uploading really, really frequently. I'm here to tell you that if you post 3 times a week or post 5 times a week or post 7 times a week, it's all about your content. You're not going to be favored more for posting more frequently unless you have a high volume of subscribers that check in every day with you. And if they just do that every day religiously, then yeah, you're going to get a little bit more of good, because you never know. You're putting out more content that YouTube can now suggest. But I'm here to tell you is you might have a video that's taking off that you released. And the reason why it's taking off is because YouTube's suggesting that, putting in browse feature. And when people come to the feed, they see that video. As soon as you upload another video, this video disappears. The next one goes up in the feed. And so you gotta be strategic of when to actually release things. I'm a big believer in less is more. So like 3 times a week, 5 times a week is great. But realistically, 2 at 1 time a week is great now too. There's a creator that gets a bajillion, like 200 million video views a month. His name's Collins Key, and he maybe uploads every 12 days. And it's just like, boom, he's just out there. So I think the big thing is those other indicators that we're talking about is the impressions versus click-through, and then also the YouTube recommendation and the average view duration is what you need to look at. All right, let's take another great question. And I hope you guys are finding value in this. If you are finding value, please subscribe to TubeBuddy. I want to do this more. This is something that I talked to Tim, I'm sorry, not talk to Tim, talk to Phil at TubeBuddy and tell him I want to do this. So if you guys think this is a great idea, put that in there. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell notification. Let's go to the next one. This is a great question. Next one is coming from Toys Review. Is 100 videos a good milestone to be favored by the algorithm? Okay, so at the end of the day, I have literally taught for years. It's like there's a cycle, and I'm going to get very specific. This kind of gives a little bit of what I'm actually talking about at the Vid Summit, but there's a cycle of what YouTube goes through, and right now it's looking at content differently. If you want to find out what that cycle is, I've made 4 videos. Is my presentation at VidCon that you can find on my channel. It's amazing content. Like it's like some of my best ever. But at Vid Summit, I'm literally updating that of what it's about and really to get your question out there. It's like YouTube doesn't care if you have 100 videos. They don't. They care about what video that's good. Okay, I've seen channels literally like upload 3 videos and get over 1 million subscribers. I've seen it. And how is that happening? They have 3 videos that are really good, and it really explodes. And you might think, oh no, you're just telling these stories. Well, no, I can guarantee you, especially in your niche right here, I can tell is toys. I can guarantee you that is the case. And so it's like finding the good content that resonates, and it's really understanding the trends that are actually happening of what YouTube will want to suggest and what people are actually, how it's being suggested out there. And so, no, it doesn't make a difference. I know that there's a lot of educators out there that says, oh, 100 days and you'll grow. Well, no, it's like putting out good content and you'll grow. Like seriously, like literally, if you put out good content, you'll literally grow. And I've seen it where you can grow quickly, or it's just getting the right type of video to take off. I've seen it happen in a few videos. I've seen it happen in 300 videos. I've seen it happen in 1,000 videos that they upload. They finally actually got it. Okay, great question. Let's go ahead and take another one. Okay, here we go. This is a great question. Next one up. How to use TubeBuddy keyword research for non-English tags. Is it works or does it work? I think is what they're meaning there. Little Derral says, I don't know. That's a good question. I have a couple channels that we translate in Spanish, we translate in Portuguese, we translate in French, we translate in German, in Hindi, and also in Arabic. What I usually do is I get the title translated and I take the keywords in the title and just add it in there. I haven't really used TubeBuddy for that. So this is a question for Andrew or Phil or someone on the TubeBuddy team. Could you reply to that? Because I want to learn. I just can only test so much and I have no idea on that. So great question. We're trying to get as many questions as we can. Let's go ahead and change the scene here to, what is that? Here we go. Other little Derral in focus right now. There we go. Story how. Is there any algorithm difference about video language? No. Like it's about audience size and understanding who's watching it. So if you're speaking a language that there's only 5 million people in the world that speak that language, then of course it's going to have not as many views if it's geared to that person in the language. And really you can only grow so much because not all those people are on YouTube. It's just how many percentage on YouTube, how many of those percentage are actually interested in your content. One of my favorite people in the whole wide world is like literally, I just love the family to death. Her name's Ola. She actually draws different drawings and stuff like that on YouTube, and she is crushing it. But she speaks Polish, and her audience is in Poland. There's not that many people in Poland, but she literally crushes it, where she's like one of the biggest creators there. And of course, she's limited to only that. Now, we've had conversations in the past. Do you actually do some translations in English? Ultimately, in the day, I look at the closed captionings, because I'm interested in her content. I'm interested in her. And so that's something that I would recommend. But doing content, I would actually just start another channel and go from there. But ultimately today, I would just like double up on the content that she has for the Polish market. So let's go to another question here. This is a great question. It's not necessarily dealing with the algorithm, but it's dealing with something that I am passionate about. Our videos are instantly demonetized as soon as they go live, with no exceptions, and they will be manually reviewed. Is there any way to end this? Oh my, like seriously, this is one of those things that I'm like, come on, YouTube, come on, you can do this. Like if you're always manually reviewing every single time, it should get smart enough to know that your content's okay, and they're like, well, you can self-certify if you, if you have a channel manager partner manager or whatever. But ultimately at the end of the day, it's like, come on, if we released 100 videos and we went through a manual review of all 100 videos and they were all deemed appropriate, why do you keep on hitting that? Let me tell you what's actually happening. It could be your tags, which there's a tool in TubeBuddy that tells you if you're at risk for that. Okay. It could be in your description. It could be in your title. Don't use those keywords. Like literally stay away from those keywords. But I can tell you where it's at. You want to know where it's at? It's in your content. And I mean your content as your video. So I would either get your content transcribed or stop saying some words that YouTube thinks that you're saying or that you are actually saying. You probably want to steer away from that, okay? Because that would be one of those flags. And even they're like, you're okay. We have a manual reviewer okay with that process. They're already looking from that immediately. I want everyone to understand this is a really, 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 really important thing. And I got this from another consultant in Amsterdam that is just like freaking brilliant, off the charts. But he basically says if you use certain keywords in the video, in the title, in the description, it could even be approved for ads, but your CPMs tank. And he has some amazing documentation on that. It's pretty awesome. Okay, let's go ahead and do another one. This is a great question. Next one, does thumbs up, thumbs down affect performance of the video? Absolutely not. Like from my point of view, it's like, do they watch the video? Are they engaging with the video with true engagement, which is, coming back, watching it multiple times? Are they looking at that factor? Yeah, they're looking at how many people like, how many people dislike, but you could have a bajillion, and that is a word, bajillion people dislike it, and you still go through the roof if the audience retention is extremely high, because that's not an indicator that they say is bad content. That's something that you need to truly understand. And so that's a great question. Let's go ahead and do the next one since we are rapid fire. What's better, 50% audience retention on short videos or longer videos that have more watch time but less audience retention? Okay, that's a great question, Vanessa Blanco. So here's the thing is, at the end of the day, we want people to watch content that's good. And so if you have longer content that's good and they're watching a higher percentage, you just need to understand your percentage points. So it's not like 50%. So it's like, hey, if we have a 30-minute video and it's like 40%, well, let's try to get 45%. Or let's try to get 50%. Let's try to get that up there. And maybe, just maybe, at the end of the day, just maybe, you shouldn't do the longer content on your channel. Maybe you shouldn't do it. So that's something you need to look at. I would actually say I want my average view duration to be as high as possible. And the longer videos, I'm not as religiously preaching that as I have in the past. It's just like put out good content that people want to watch and people will finish to the end. Here's a hyper tip. This will be at my presentation at Vid Summit 2018 in Los Angeles at my keynote. It's more about the non-subscriber than it is about the subscriber. Get the rest of that, you got to come to the Vid Summit or buy those replays, because that's the live ticket. I mean, that's kind of where we're at. Okay, let's go ahead and do that. Next question here. Derral Eves, can you share thumbnail design hacks for higher CTR for DIY channels? That's great. So I have put out some training on my channel that's talking about how to get more views, and it's all about that click-through. I have like an hour training on my website that you can go through. I go in depth. I'm about to release, after Vid Summit, I'm about to release some content that I've been in this training group of, getting higher performing thumbnails. But ultimately, at the end of the day, is look at what your thumbnails are doing and seeing how they're converting, and see which ones are the highest, and make more thumbnails like that. That's something I do. If not, you can get the rest of the information at vidsummit.com when we do that. Okay, let's do the next one. Great question here. So basically, length doesn't really matter. Is it just the question the viewer will watch to the end? So that's good. Yeah. So like literally at the end of the day, it's about the video. It's about the viewer. It's what the viewer does on the video, what the viewer does next on the video. And that's what YouTube's literally gathering. And it's like trying to get as much information on that. And it's trying to predict what to give to that person next. And so if they watched one video that was yours, the next video that was yours, the next video of yours, why wouldn't they suggest more videos to that viewer? They are. They're literally, if you're doing it in the row, they're like, hey, this person just watched 3 videos, and now you're gonna literally see them all the time. That's what you're trying to accomplish as much as possible, is getting them to subscribe, to get the bell notifications so they come back. But once they come back, they watch more and more videos. So it's being very strategic of what you put your cards, what you put your end screen elements, what you put in the description, so that it all ties together, giving data points that you need to make it be successful. Let's go ahead and do another one. Great questions are coming out. Is there one, or is there a good one for, here's a good one for you, Derral. It's been a long day for me. I've been up for quite some time. Does doing like 2,000 subscriber special any good for your channel? Okay, so that, like, look, engaging with your viewers is key. Like it's like literally understanding that you want to connect. And if they want to help celebrate with you at 200 subscribers, that's great. Then I'd do it 100%, okay? All right, we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna take 3 more questions, and I'm gonna literally pick the questions, and then I'm gonna give you my best tip for the algorithm on this. So everybody that's been on right now and have been on for like that, you're literally going to be blessed by my knowledge of the YouTube algorithm. Before we do, I want you to sit back and realize and feel what the Vid Summit's all about. Vid Summit is a conference I put on every year. And the whole reason why I put it on is I want to learn from the best in the industry, and it's personally for me. Like that's the viewer of Vid Summit, and I want to learn from each of the people there. And I want to learn from the people that are in the audience. And so I'm very keen on who's at the Vid Summit. So if you want to grow your YouTube audience, you want to grow your online audience, you want to learn how to monetize in ways that you've never even thought of, you'll find creativity and actionable plans. We had at Vid Summit 3, we had a grandma of 72 years old, was making $100,000 a month off of 10,000 subscribers. She shared her strategy. That's what we're talking about. Those are the people that I want to learn from, of what they're doing and how to apply that information for me. So if you're interested in Vid Summit, definitely click on the link in the description below. I think there's one there. If not, we'll put one there later, and go to vidsummit.com. And then I'm going to take 3 more questions. We're going to take a quick break real quick, 3 questions. And then at the end of those 3 questions, I'm going to give you I'm gonna go ahead and answer the 3 questions, and I'm gonna give you my power tip of really understanding the algorithm and some of the tactics that I use. But to give you, I'm gonna give you some context for my keynote that I'll be doing, and I wanna kind of jump to that because that is something I'm really passionate about. So we have some amazing presenters. We have people that you know, like Steve Dotto, Roberto Blake, Tom Martin. We also have the CEO of Patreon, who is super smart and amazing. That's Jack Conte, and he's coming to speak to us. We also have Jeffrey Harmon, who's with the Harmon Brothers, and also VidAngel, one of the smartest people in the world. I love this guy, and we work a lot together. But let me kind of jump down. We're announcing our keynote this week. And let me tell you, it's huge. It is like literally huge. We're doing something that's super crazy. We have Amazon. You can kind of see all the fun things, but let's get to Thursday because that's when I'm presenting. So we have some really good presentations here, but after we do the welcome, we have Cody that's actually talking about power of creating a movement. Super awesome. Love this guy. There's also Adam and Rock that's giving a 7-figure sales funnel. But I want to come down to my presentation. Massive growth, algorithm metrics, and A/B testing. Now, this is something I've been working on for literally 6 months of my life. And I can tell you right now that there's no way that I could gather the information that I'm gathering for this presentation without TubeBuddy. There's no way. And I'm here to tell you, I do more creative things with TubeBuddy, and I do things they probably don't even know I do. they can see my server load, but like my calls to the API for YouTube. But at the end of the day, like they literally have made this presentation about massive growth on YouTube, the algorithm, the metrics, the A/B testing. There is literally no way I could have done it without TubeBuddy. Please use TubeBuddy. And if you're frugal and you can't have the money that you need to get a license, there's the free copy. Use the free copy as much as you can, but ultimately get that pro. But ultimately, if you're really serious about doing it, get that legacy, because the legacy, I know it's so much a month. I really don't even know what it is a month. I think it's like maybe 30, 40 bucks around there a month. And you're like, oh man, that's like so much money. But like if you're serious about YouTube and understanding what it is, you got to use that tool, because a lot of the features that are there are very resource intense on the API. That's what they have costs. They have costs of what's going on, and it's just not, oh, you got the software and it connects. No, like literally, there's data. There's calls to the YouTube API. They can only do so many in a day, and so they can't do all these things for for free. You can't do it for a pro version, and so. Without the legacy account, I can guarantee you there's no way in a million years that I could actually get the data that I'm presenting here on the algorithm, the A/B testing, and the metrics. And I'm here to tell you that my presentation is going to rock, and it's gold, and I am not putting it on my YouTube channel. The only way you can get it is, number one, on basically a virtual ticket at VidSummit or in person. And you might say, oh man, that's harsh. Well, guess what, guys? Like this is something that I want to give to the people that really get what YouTube is, which is an opportunity and a business. And they want to grow. And maybe I will give it out 6 months after the fact, but I'm going to give them the leg up of what's actually happening on YouTube right now. Okay, so let's go ahead. If you have a question, jump in and ask your question. I'm taking 3 more and then giving you my power tip, brought to you by TubeBuddy, the sponsor of vidsummit.com, which is a conference we put on in LA, October 9th through the 12th. It's actually the evening of the 9th, all day 10th and 11th. And then we have some networking on the 12th. Our main sponsor is Amazon. Amazon's doing some really amazing things that you need to do. But we also have Patreon, which is like, they're doing our party on the 9th. And I'm telling you, it's off the hook. It's like, I'm super excited about it. All right, so let's go ahead and let me go ahead and grab a question here. If you have a question, I'm taking 3 more questions, put it in there. And if not, I will just kind of randomly pick 3 questions. And I want to make sure that this is the right questions, and we're doing this live stream good. Everybody's saying that we got some really cool people talking about the legacy, but it's just really cool. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead. I've set a few in the queue, so I'm gonna go ahead and add this first one, and the first one's coming up. And ooh, looks like I gotta fix that, but it says I'm active 7 days a week on YouTube. I'm changing my schedule 5 days a week as 2019. If I don't reach my goal of 1,000 subs in 2019. I'm afraid I will reach it in 4 years. Am I going to reach it in 4 years? Here's the thing. And I want you to understand this. And this was Greenleaf City Video Gaming. I've literally got 1,000 subscribers adding to a brand new channel in days. I've got it organically in weeks. It doesn't take that much time if you focus in on your content. And I would literally look at your content, and I'm going to give you the power tip of understanding the algorithm, and I'm going to just kind of hold that over so that you're able to get that, because ultimately at the end of the day, that power tip kind of goes with your question like a glove. So you don't want to miss it. Power tips, the very last thing that we're going to do. Okay. So the next one is coming from StoryHow. If we promote videos helping TubeBuddy, this view counts in external views. So here's the thing with external views, and this is why I love real-time analytics. I was like guessing before real-time analytics what was happening on external things. I actually proved that when you embed a video on Facebook, that Facebook and YouTube don't like each other, and that view doesn't really count on YouTube. So I literally got 100 people in a private group to click play and watch it. And when we went on YouTube, no traffic, no nothing. It was an unlisted video. There's nothing, no other factor that could be taking place. There was 3 views. So it validated 3 views on there. Why do they do this? I can guarantee you it's because people were gaming the system where they're like, oh, it's a Facebook view, and then they had bots just watching it, boom, 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 a ton of time, and it wasn't anybody. So they're like, no, we're just turning off that traffic. We don't even count it. Keep that in mind. So what I would do is use the link, but put your picture in there of the video. So they click the link and it actually takes them to YouTube. But keep in mind, once you do that on Facebook, Facebook's gonna say, oh, you're trying to promote people to go off of YouTube. We're gonna suppress your post. So keep that in mind. That is a great question from there. So does it count? Yes, it does, but it depends on where it's actually at. If it's a trusted website, absolutely. If it's not, probably not. Because YouTube's always looking at people trying to do the fake views. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and let's do one more question. It's our last question, and then I'm gonna give a tip that's also really going back. Okay, it's not fair. Okay, I just need a question. Let's see here. If you get a good one. Some good strategies. People are loving the TubeBuddy legacy. So if you have a question with the okay, here's one that we will end on. And after this question, I'm going to give you my power tip, so you don't want to miss that as well. So here's the next one. Derral, TubeBuddy tool on targeting keywords. Is it accurate? It looks like you're a clasher. I, too, am a fellow clasher. I play Clash Royale. You probably play Clash of Clans. I don't know. But anyway, yes, it does. It does. It's like one of my favorite optimization tools. I do use other tools as well, but what I'm looking at is the keyword that it's pulling up. So you can actually says, hey, what's the most searched keyword or phrase in YouTube search, in Google search, in trending. You're able to see all that data all together. And it is extremely accurate because they're pulling all that data from Google. They're pulling all that data from YouTube. And it's just basically YouTube's data and Google's data. It's not TubeBuddy's data. And so that's what they're looking at. And I don't know if you're meaning the rank on the tag. Like, so if you're ranking for that specific keyword on the tag, if that's what you're meaning there. If that's the case, it will vary from viewer to viewer how you rank, because why? YouTube cares about the viewer and the video. So each viewer is going to see ranking differently. But what they're looking at is when someone's not logged in incognito mode or private mode, and they're going to that search with no other factors of no search history, no nothing, and they type it in, is that actually showing up? That's what they're actually showing. And so from my point of view, it's as accurate as you're going to get it. And they've been very good. I don't know if you know their history before TubeBuddy. They had some pretty amazing tools that was helping you understand where things were ranked and stuff like that. So Tim, why do I keep on calling Phil Tim? I love Tim Schmoyer. I love Phil. It's like I call him the same things on Tim. No, Phil. Phil is brilliant, and his whole team over there, super amazing. So now, we ready for the power tip? You guys ready for this thing? We ready to go? All right. So here's this. It's not that complicated. We overcomplicate YouTube. We try to overcomplicate YouTube. We're trying to do every little tactic, every little strategy. We're trying to listen to this, listen to that, and we miss out on the most important thing about YouTube. Okay? And at the end of the day, that's 100% what I get hired for. Now, I'm here to tell you that I flew to Google headquarters. This might seem really weird, but I did. And I met down with an amazing team. It's the dev social team at Google, that they're over all the social properties for development on Google, okay? They do their YouTube channels. They had a whole bunch of YouTube channels and all their social properties. They wanted to come and pick my brain and come up with some strategies for them, yet they own YouTube. They have all that opportunity, and at the end of the day, it's the basics, the simplicity of what you need to do and what you can do is what you need to focus in on. So it doesn't matter about optimization and all that other stuff. What you need to focus in on is your content. So here's the power tip, and it's something that I literally tell all my clients. It doesn't matter who they are, how big they are. It's like we need to understand the ecosystem of your videos, because it's all about what? The viewer and the video. And when you understand those two things, then you're able to take that information and start replicating success, okay? And so what I like to do is make a list of 20 channels. This is really simple, but it's really important. 20 channels of content that you would be making. And you might say, hey, there's not a channel out there that's gonna make content like me. Well, yeah, right. There's people that are literally doing it in your vertical, and at the end of the day, you get 20 of those channels together, and I would get the most successful channels. I would not get the people that have 2 subscribers or 10 subscribers or 100 subscribers or even 1,000 subscribers, unless they got 1,000 subscribers in a day and they're on massive growth. I keep track of that. Now, you can use this TubeBuddy will have to tell us this, but I get a lot of things for free with TubeBuddy, all the functionalities, everything actually. And you can do competitive analysis, and I don't know which account that goes through. So they're going to put in the chat what that is. I don't know what it is, but you could do competitive analysis on those 20 channels. So you add those 20 channels to TubeBuddy, and you can start pulling in the information that you're going to need, because each one of those tips, each one of those channels, you're going to be watching. And here's the simple thing. You need to watch those 20 channels, at least one video a week. Okay? So you're going to be literally watching 20 videos a week from those 20 channels. Okay? And you're trying to understand who is the viewer, and why does YouTube like this content so much? How do they engage the audience? How do they connect? How do they do their call to action? What's their formula? Are there any themes that are happening on channel 1 versus channel 20 that's consistently the same? Because I'm here to tell you, successful channels on YouTube are doing something right. And you might say, oh, it's just dumb luck. Well, yeah, it's dumb luck for one video. But if they're consistently bringing them back, then they're doing something that the algorithm loves. So the tip is this: 20 channels that you're consuming their content, 20 videos a week, and you do that for the life of you being a YouTuber with that channel. Now, I personally own, it's gonna shock you, a few YouTube channels. It's well over 10. I have to do it that's why I'm consuming so much content, is because I'm trying to figure out what people are posting, what people are doing, how they're engaging with the audience, their tone, their pacing of their video, their call to action, their engagement, and that's what I'm studying on. It's that simple. And the more that you can replicate, not necessarily copy them, but replicate the best practices that they're all doing, the more chance that you have to be picked up by being suggested to those channels. And when I mean those channels, I mean the videos that they release, because once you start understanding, oh, here's a common theme. If I do a video on that common theme and I'm using good content strategies, and remember, what do we call content? Title, thumbnail, hook, content, call to action. That's your content and description. That's what we're talking about here. And once you're able to put out good content and you get that one suggestion, it's going to take off. Now, I have a friend that had literally a channel that he uploaded daily for 3 months, and then he abandoned it. He's like, I got other channels that are performing. I put too much time and effort into it. And he just got this huge notification, because he gets those notifications from YouTube, that he was getting a lot of comments on that old channel. It was over a year old. He got 1.6 million 1.6 million views in 24 hours. And that channel now pulls in about 1 million views a day. And it's just like, that content was really good. It was getting the discoverability, but something clicked, something happened that it started to promote that video, and that's where it took off. And he literally didn't release anything for a year. He's releasing pretty much 5 times a week right now. So that is the tip. That's the power tip. Keep it simple. Be a student of YouTube. Be a student of YouTube. That's why I put on the Vid Summit. That's why I study all these different channels, is so I understand human behavior, how the algorithm is looking at the viewer. If I can get certain things that they're doing, and I'm like, oh man, that was clever. Ooh, I like the way that they're sucking them in the content at 2 minutes in. Like, it's very systematic. And you think that some of these YouTubers are stupid. And I use that really because I've heard this. It's like, oh, they're dumb. They don't know what they're doing. They're just cute, so they get these subscribers. But no, at the end of the day, they're very strategic. Some of the biggest YouTubers, they have some of the most ridiculous content. They're like, why does even people watch this? But you're not the viewer, and you don't understand the viewer, and that's why your videos will never ever be found and work, because you have to understand who's viewing the content and how to engage them on an emotional level. So guys, thank you so much for coming on this live stream. One last thing, come to the Vid Summit. I'd love to meet you in person, and you literally get to meet all the industry experts. There's the TubeBuddy panel. There's all your favorite creators are coming. We are about to announce, hopefully I got a text why this is happening, that we're good to announce our main keynote. It's gonna blow you away. We're gonna do something extremely different that's never been done at any other conference, and we're doing it this year. I'm really excited about that, so you don't wanna miss it. vidsummit.com. It starts the night of the 9th, so you can fly into the 9th or drive into the 9th, and we're having a Patreon party, and it's gonna be an epic party, and then all day on the 10th and the 11th is the Vid Summit. It's gonna be so amazing. 4 sessions, every hour, on the hour. We're streaming it live all over the internets, for our virtual ticket, and then we're only accepting a couple more hundred people at the Vid Summit, and then we're shutting off the tickets this year. Thank you guys so much for coming on. I just love TubeBuddy and the support that they've given me over these years, and I'm telling you, I would not be successful without TubeBuddy.